Now we are on part 3 of the cash flow statement. We are looking at the cash flow from financing activities. We are done with the cash flow from operating activities, investing activities. Now we are looking at the last section, whereby we look at the proceeds from the issue of shares, the shares repurchased, and then the repayment of the loan. These two, the shares repurchase proceeds from the issue of shares, we go back to the note to the balance sheet that we did for 1.2.1, whereby we're calculating the ordinary share capital, the issued share capital. That's where we'll find all the information that we need for the repurchase and the proceeds of the shares that were issued. So if we are going back to that question, if you still remember, we'll go back again to adjustment number C. When we look at the shares that were added, that were issued during the year, on 30 June 2020, all shares that were unissued as at 30 June 2019 were issued. And we discovered that the number of shares was 800,000 shares. So these were the 800,000 shares that were unissued, which were issued on that particular date. And then we also discovered, you don't forget to go to note number 1 on question 1.2.1, the net for the ordinary share capital. We discovered that per share it was times let me check again from the question. It was 448 times 448, and then the amount was it's also there given there. The amount is 3,584,000. 3,584,000. Okay, this is the money that was received from these additional shares that were issued, or the unissued shares that were issued on that particular day. All right, and then the shares that were repurchased, we also know again from the note, there were 40,000 shares. There were 40,000 shares that were repurchased, and then they were purchased at how much? Let's go back again to the information that we are given. Okay, the information that we are given here. On the 1st of January 2020, 40,000 shares were repurchased at 410. So when we are doing the cash flow statement, we take the bank amount, the money that was actually spent. It was 410. Okay, so we use the 410 on this part times 410. Remember, when we're doing the ordinary share capital note, we looked at the average share price. But when we come to the cash flow, we are interested in the bank, how much money was spent on the repurchase. That's what we are interested in. So if you multiply 40,000 times 410, we are going to get something like, let's see how much we're going to get. We're going to get 164,000. 164,000. This is the money that was spent on the repurchase. Remember, this amount is in brackets. It's an outflow. Okay, let's look at the loan. What is it that happened to our loan? We can see, okay, fine. We've got a loan that is given here. It was 560 and then it became 400,000. It decreased, is it? The only thing that can decrease our loan is a repayment. When we are repaying, it means the loan amount would definitely decrease. So the difference between those two amounts, it's actually, okay, let me show the calculation. 560,000 minus 400,000, which will give us 160,000. It is also an outflow because we made a repayment. So finally, we can now calculate our cash flow from financing activities. We say 3,584,000 minus 164,000 minus 160,000, which is actually going to give us something like 3,260,000. 3,260,000. So this is our answer. This is the amount for the cash flow from the financing activities. Okay, the last part now of this cash flow statement is to calculate the net change in the cash and cash equivalents, whereby, okay, we need to identify the cash and cash equivalents at the beginning, the cash and cash equivalents at the end. Okay, there is something that I also want you to note. How to calculate the net change in cash and cash equivalents if you are doing the full cash flow. Remember, we have got the amount for cash flow from operating activities on 1, cash flow from investing activities on 2, cash flow from financing activities on 3. So adding those three totals will give you the net change in cash and cash equivalents. Let me show it to you here. Okay, the money that we got from operating activities. Okay, the money that also got from investing activities. And lastly, the money that we got from financing activities. Adding these three amounts will give us the net change. Anyway, let's check. Let's go. We have to go back to part 1 and part 2 so that we can get these amounts. Okay, the amount for the cash flow from financing activities is 3,260,000. Okay, let's go back to the investing activities and then the operating activities. The investing activities were 374,900, 374,900, which was negative. And then from the operating activities, we had 52,000. 52,000 on the operating activities. Okay, so these are the amount that we have. We add them together so that we can actually get the net change in cash and cash equivalents. Okay, and then our final amount will be something like let me check on my calculator. 2,937,000, 2,937,000 and 100. This is our net change. So this is the amount that we are supposed to take here, where it's a net change in cash and cash in your cash flow statement is 2,937,100. Okay, let's identify the cash and cash equivalents at the beginning from the information that is given. We have got a bank overdraft here, and then we've got a cash and cash equivalent of 2,000 here. Okay, so usually this is a small amount, maybe for petty cash or cash float and so forth, but actually our bank balance is in overdraft. Okay, but we are going to reduce it with this 2,000 that is given there. How do we do that? We are going to open a bracket here. We say 2,000 minus 17,100, okay, to get our cash and cash equivalents at the beginning, which will leave us with something like 15,100. It's still in overdraft. Okay, so now we can safely calculate the cash and cash equivalent amount at the end. The cash and cash equivalent amount at the end, of course, we are simply going to subtract the 15,100, and then we are going to remain with something like 2,922,000. 2,922,000. These are our cash and cash equivalents at the end. So when you have read this part, your cash flow statement is done. It is complete. And if you had followed all these steps, just like what I've done, you always get a correct cash flow statement. That is all for this question. It was 1.2.2 for the cash flow statement. Remember, the question paper is from KwaZulu-Natal, the preparatory examination, September 2020. Question 1.2.2, the cash flow statement. This is the last part of the cash flow statement. Everything is done. Do not forget to like this video, and also do not forget to subscribe. If you have got any comment, any query, any question, please don't forget to go to the comment section to leave a comment there. Thank you.